What's up, everybody? Reba Reebs back at it on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. Why, you ask? Because this little guy. Found him wandering around in the neighborhood, so he kind of takes priority. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk weightlifting coach and how to find one. So USAW just released their level 1 course online for anyone to take, which is awesome. It gets a lot of new blood in the coaching mix, but it makes it harder for you as an athlete to find the correct coach. So today I'm gonna go over what you should be looking for when looking for an Olympic weightlifting coach. To this date, I've had 3 Olympic coaches. The first one being my CrossFit coach, and he taught me the absolute ground zero basics of Olympic weightlifting. And I'm talking about like what a snatch and a clean and jerk movement was. He was extremely patient, extremely kind.
Nice job. Go bottle.
And I still am in touch with him today. Really good guy, all around character. And that's really what sparked my interest in Olympic weightlifting, learning the mechanics of it. And it really got my enthusiasm going with my first coach, with him. The only reason why I left him was because I outgrew that platform. I needed something that was a little bit more challenging, and I needed a team. So my second coach that I went to had the team and was still into CrossFit, but kind of sort of into Olympic weightlifting. But he had that team aspect that I was looking for. So that was great. And for a time when I went to my new coach, my second coach at the time, it was everything that I needed: a team and another coach. However, I quickly outgrew that coach and that team as well. And then I found my third Olympic weightlifting coach, and hopefully final. Don't see it changing anytime soon. Sorry, Walt. Walt Neubauer at Wilmington Weightlifting Club. And what he brought to the table was not only the team aspect, but the true Olympic weightlifting coach aspect. Weightlifting, he eats it, breathes it, bathes in it, and it encompasses all of his life. I didn't realize how important that was in Olympic weightlifting coach until I got with Walt. And that's really something that your first aspect you should consider when selecting a coach. They don't need to be 100% only Olympic weightlifting, but they do need to know their way around it. They need the knowledge of what's going on in the Olympic weightlifting world, like events, qualifying totals, requirements. That's just something that a coach needs to bring to the table. And having a coach that is completely in it and encompasses it is definitely beneficial to you as an athlete. All right, so I talk about the team aspect and why that was beneficial to me. Like I mentioned in my first video, I'm a remote athlete, so I train alone 5% of the time. The other 5%, I take the time to travel down to Wilmington to go see my team, which is about 4 hours round trip. And I usually do that on the weekends, or if I have time off during the week, I will do that instead. The team aspect is awesome and something that you should definitely consider when choosing your weightlifting coach. I'm not saying you need to go out there and join the biggest team out there or join the loudest or the most flashiest team, but you do need to take that in consideration. And a way that you can take that in consideration when you're choosing a coach is looking at how those coaches interact with their team. Not only their top athletes, not their top 5, their top 10, but like all of their athletes. So you want to look for someone who is actively involved in their team or has an active leadership group. This could be their assistant coaches, their team leaders, whatever it may be. Looking at the team aspect is going to tell you a lot about how that person coaches, and you can get a lot of information from that. So for example, if you're looking up a team online and you find their Instagram account or their Facebook account, scroll through their posts, see who they're posting, see who they're interacting with, see how they interact. Now, the coach themselves may not run the account, highly doubt it, but it just shows you how that team interacts with outside people. You want someone and a team who's welcoming. You want to find someone who's trustworthy. At the end of the day, you have a relationship with your coach, and that relationship is going to have multiple layers. And you should be able to have an honest conversation with your coach, whether it's about diet, whether it's about programming, whether it's about stuff you have going on in your life. But you should be able to have that conversation with your coach, and you should be able to trust the information, the programming that they're giving you. Trust is a huge factor when choosing a coach, because at the end of the day, if you don't trust your coach, what's the point in having your coach? If you're constantly going off your programming because you don't feel like it's benefiting you, or if you're constantly keeping stuff away from your coach that has to do with your weightlifting career, then what's the point? Trust is a two-way street. You need to be able to trust your coach, and your coach needs to be able to trust you. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and hire a coach and say, hey, this is my life story. This is my from age 0 to where I'm at today. No, but if it pertains to weightlifting, you make that relationship as intimate as you want. Now, know that a lot of coaches, you're not the only athlete when it comes to hiring a coach. Like I mentioned before, the whole team aspect, some teams are as big as 100+ members, some teams are as small as 5 members. You can't constantly have the attention of your coach, but you should have the feeling, or you should know that you can approach your coach and still have a conversation with them. You're not the only one having a conversation, but you can have a conversation with them. One thing that I found that was super helpful when I was looking for another Olympic coach after my second Olympic coach was someone who developed their athletes, not a collector of developers. And what I mean by that is I was looking for a coach who took athletes and grew them and was continuing to grow them to their maximal potential. Now, I'm not saying I was out there looking for a coach that had all the national, international lifters on their team. No. I was looking for a coach who continually built up people to the degree in which they wanted to be built. There's some people that are on Olympic weightlifting teams that have no inkling at all to compete. Not even in a local competition. They just do it just to stay fit. But then there's also people that do Olympic weightlifting that want to reach those maximum goals of getting on an international team or getting to the Olympics. A true coach can be determined by who they develop and how they develop their athletes and the extent in which they develop their athletes too. So there's a lot of people, or there's a lot of athletes that I know that have had multiple coaches such as myself, some more, some less. A coach that is truly a good coach should be able to have a team, should be able to show you who they've developed and how they've developed these people. Development is a big part in weightlifting or any sport, any aspect of life really, because development shows growth. And a lot of people take development as, oh, well, I added 20 kilos to my clean and jerk. That's development. I mean, yeah, sure, technically it is, but what about your mindset? What about other things to take in consideration, such as where you started to where you are or where you're going to? You need to find someone who's passionate. Someone who is not just doing this for the paycheck. Someone who truly believes in you and believes in what they're preaching. And that is so important. A lot of people take passion for granted because, hey, if you're paid enough, then you should be passionate about it. No, I could be paid $1 million to go watch grass grow. Am I passionate about it? Hell no. But will I do it because I'm getting paid? Hell yeah. Find someone who's being passionate about a coach is going to play an extremely positive role in your life, not only as an athlete, but as a human being. Look, at the end of the day, you gotta go out there, you gotta try new things, you gotta try new coaches, you gotta try new environments. Maybe you've tried all the local weightlifting coaches in your area and you're just like, I'm not feeling any of them, or you've looked at them. Try being a remote athlete. Try reaching out to some teams that may not be in your area, but that may offer the coaching services that you need. At the end of the day, finding a coach is something that you have to take serious and that you have to invest your time and energy and effort into in order to find a good match for yourself. You might not get it right on the first time, you might not get it right on the second, but there is a coach out there for everyone, I believe. A way you can go about finding your local weightlifting gym is if you go to USAW, they have a tab that says find a club near me. You type in your state, your zip code, and it'll give you all the local weightlifting clubs in your area. Another way to do it is simply Google searching weightlifting clubs near me. So the top 3 things I think you should look for in a weightlifting coach is passion, trust, and development. Obviously, you can add a few things to your list when you're looking for a coach. But truly, when you're looking for a coach, do your research. Look at their athletes. Look at themselves. Look at their bio. Look at their history. Look at what they've done, who they've produced, what they've been involved in. You're looking at involving yourself with someone else, and you're paying for a service. So you have to look at the services that they offer. You have to look at what they're preaching, in a sense. And you have to see if that aligns with what you're looking for. There are some clubs out there that are super competitive and super active, and that might not work for someone who's not looking to compete at all. Or it might boost someone who's not looking to compete into the realm in which they never thought they could be in, which is competing. So I mean, these aspects when you're looking for a coach are all tied in, but at the end of the day, you have to find someone that you're going to mesh with. I hope this gave you the stepping stones to finding the perfect coach for you. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to comment below and I'll get back with you. But until next time, Reba Reebs out.